Mike Vrabel, maybe he is too alpha. It's a routine question that every coach is getting right now. That's kind of his sense of humor. I guess what he's saying is, why win? Why try to win? He doesn't go the way of the weak. He's a winner. Yeah, Vrabel knows the answer. Welcome to Training Camp 2025. He's going to make you feel like you're the idiot for asking a stupid question. He's going in too hard already at Training Camp 2024. That offseason did not have many suitors for Mike Vrabel. Apparently, he's too alpha. We'll get to that in a moment because this ties in. So he continues to, I don't know if it's scare tactics. I think it's just setting the tone as training camp is underway in New England, his Camelot. Firsthand, know this. Mike Vrabel is consistent. He's the same dude day in and day out. Alpha male, he's going to let you know about it. And especially reporters that are either boring him or irritating him, annoying him. And it's pretty easy to do that with Vrabel. So during this week's press conference, going into practice, Vrabel told a reporter that he did not want to answer a repeat question. What was the question anyway that, I didn't hear, you didn't hear, apparently this reporter didn't hear? This is the initial answer that he wanted the reporter to go back and look on the transcription for.
You said how critical this month was when they were off on their own. Kind of, if I remember correctly, you might have said it was one of the most important junctures of the year. What's your level of satisfaction with these guys?
Well, I think just based on the conditioning test, based on everybody at their weights, where we asked them to be in the conversation, thought we met expectations in that regard. But ultimately, it's about the football conditioning, right? The inline combat with another player, and then being able to go and chase the football and do it repeatedly.
So my guess is that's about Diggs. I don't know specifically, but the conditioning, when he hasn't been practicing, he's back and all that. It's a routine question that every coach is getting right now as camp begins across the National Football League. It's a question that this particular reporter didn't think had been asked yet. So the question was asked again.
Mike, you called the 5 weeks over the summer, I think, one of the most important parts of the offseason. Just now the guys are back. I know there's 90 of them, but generally speaking,
91,
international pathway. How'd they do? How do you feel about how the guys came back?
I mean, whether you were in a coma when I answered Tom's question, or typing on your phone or tweeting, I don't know, but I spent 5 minutes answering that question. And I could go back through it, but I'd rather not.
Yeah, me either. That's not Vrabel being rude, believe it or not. That's kind of his sense of humor in a weird way. That's his tone. And, well, it's not for everybody. And it's not for Kimberly Martin, who's with ESPN. And she was, taken aback by the approach that Vrabel took in response to receiving the same question yet again. So this is on First Take this morning, and you're going to hear Dominique Foxworth in this as well. He's responding to Kimberly, who had this to say after hearing Vrabel respond to the reporter.
As the reporter sitting here, I'm not a fan of that.
No.
I'm not a fan of the Vrabel. He's right. He is right, but you also don't have to embarrass people like that. And he does that a lot.
I'm not a fan of reporters repeating questions. I'm with you, Kimberly. High five. Okay. Get their ass, Mike.
Right.
So, that's no harm, no foul on Vrabel's end. But it's like, he was calling out a dude in press conference. Like, that is routine. Welcome to Training Camp 2025. At least I hope it's not anything like 2020 or 2021. I hope it's further down the road than that. And we don't have to worry about discussing Kimberly Martin and wanting to ban any tone or any inkling that a coach is pissed off at a reporter. This is Mike Vrabel getting into regular season mode. He didn't coach last year. Well, I guess he did in Cleveland. But he wasn't a head coach last year. And I know this. He's a head coach now, and he could be working for Amy Adams Strunk right now, getting paid to do nothing. And instead, he has offset language in his contract that he had with the Titans, and he gave that up in order to go and be a head ball coach, as he would say, in New England, where Bob Kraft certainly knows what he's bringing to the table. But he's too alpha for some. Maybe. I get where he wore thin on some here in Nashville. I think it was a huge mistake to fire him when they did. And he doesn't go the way of the weak. He's a winner. And I guess what he's saying is winners aren't going to ask the same question twice. Keep this in mind. He's setting a tone for not just the media. I think the media knows him pretty well, having covered him there for a long time. But setting a tone, I think, just for in the building. Like, he was kind of, here are my rules and all this stuff in the offseason, and now he's coming back, and it's just, that's Mike Vrabel, the coach that we saw. And again, that is routine. You don't hear that, you don't see that anymore with Brian Callahan with the Titans. That's what they're missing. If you need it, he is an equal opportunity ass chewer, Mike Vrabel. But the whole too alpha. This is from Diana Rossini. This is last year. An unnamed general manager had talked with her about Vrabel's status in the coaching hiring process last year. Not the New England process, but the one prior. And I think, Oakland was involved, or not Oakland, Vegas was involved in that, and one other one, maybe Atlanta was one of the teams that wanted to talk to him at least. And this is Rossini, who, by the way, is, if Rossini reports anything on the Patriots, it's straight from Mike Vrabel. Vrabel and Rossini are tight. And this is her. He called me day after an aggregator took something that I said and basically said Mike Vrabel's too fat to work. What I shared was that I had dinner with a general manager at the Senior Bowl, and we had conversations about how bizarre this last coaching cycle was and how crazy it was that Belichick and Vrabel didn't have gigs. That was a huge discussion. I agree. I was stunned that both of them ended up without a job. And I said, why do you think that Mike didn't get a job? And this GM told Rossini, I think they needed a change there in Tennessee, but in terms of the next opportunity, I think there's a lot of people who are very intimidated by him. He walks into a room, he's confident, he's physically a big human being, and it's a little startling at first, very normal. When I say this to you, his hands are the size of your head. That from the unnamed general manager. This is true. I have a story that will back up the hands are the size of your head. I don't know Diana Rossini's head size, but I do know what it feels like to have the wrath come down on you from Vrabel. More on that in a moment. But that's the physical part of it. The verbal, he never got after me, but he did other reporters here in Tennessee. One being a columnist for the Tennessean, Gentry Estes, great guy. He was asking Vrabel, why win? Why try to win? It was the week 18. I believe it was either Jacksonville or Houston the Titans were playing. This is the worst season that Vrabel had. He won just 6 games this season. And going into the final week, he's pissed off. Not for greatness, but just pissed off that they are where they are. And, well, here's what he had in response.
Expand on. Because it sucks to lose, Gentry.
Trey, ever need to show you anything?
Did you have another thought, or no? I'm just curious.
Well,
it fucking sucks. Losing. Awful. That's why I want to win. Because you don't sleep. You want to win for the players that bust their tail.
Yeah, and I love Vrabel for that. And he's, it's not like they're getting screamed at down the hallway after a press conference. Kimberly Martin would be shocked to hear that tone and that language in the presser there. Maybe even more stunned, Vrabel walked out of a presser. He was pissed off on this day because the Titans had just claimed Zach Cunningham off of waivers from Houston. But he was not going to be in Nashville in time to be a part of the game. I think they played on Thursday night. And Vrabel didn't want to talk about a player that wasn't going to be able to play. So he told everyone, stop asking, in Nick Saban style. Well, they didn't.
Talk about more about Zach next week. He won't be active for the football game.
Can he start practicing?
We'll talk about him next week. He won't be active for the game.
Can you just talk about Cunningham's skill set a little bit and what the reason was?
Oh, that's John Glennon, R.I.P. there with that question. One more. Let's get actually two more. Here's just asking a rhetorical question back to the media.
To assess
during
the training camp and preseason overall that Des Fitzpatrick had. You had mentioned early how just kind of you were sort of displeased with his progress. He seemed to have a good week, and where do you see him at this point?
Did I use displeased, or did you use that term for me?
What you had said was, well, the way you had said when you were asked about.
I think I said one word. I said a lot, right? What would he have to do? And I think
a lot. Yeah, correct.
Okay.
Yeah, Vrabel knows the answer. Final one. If he doesn't want to answer a question, and it could be a good one, he's going to make you feel like you're the idiot for asking a stupid question. Shout out Paul Kuharsky here.
There's a lot of plays in that game, and whether the ball's on the 20, I mean, how fitting that you would ask that question, Paul. That of all those plays in that game, walking in here with stretch, I said one idiot is going to ask me that question. Like, okay, whether it's on the 20-yard line or the 11-yard line. Okay. Like, let's go back and talk about the game, Paul.
Is Ryan Suckup still doing a good job?
Well, we had one blocked. I don't know. We'll have to go look at the protection. So, again, I thought when we got them past the line of scrimmage, they went in on the extra point.
They went in on the extra points. Titans didn't score too much towards the end of the tenure of Mike Vrabel. All right, first time I met Mike Vrabel. Sean, I want you to hear this too. And playing football, you'll know the background here. I meet him for the first time. I was with Titans Radio. We're at the NFL Combine. And he had just been hired. It was a late hiring process or whatever for the Titans. John Robinson finally got Vrabel. And they were getting rid of Malarkey. So it took some time. He comes up for our interview with our show, with myself, Chad, and Paul. And he's shaking the hands of everybody. And then I introduced myself and let him know, like, hey, I work with Mike Keith, the voice of the Titans at the time. And I'm letting him know, like, you'll see me on game day, or whatever. And he open palm, like a Big Show from WWE, just lays into me right here on my chest. It was very abrupt. Like, I was not expecting this, but it was like a thud where there's like a Paul White Big Show red mark there. And it was the size of, Diana Rossini's head. Is how I would describe it. But, I mean, when you hear the thud of his he's doing it for the reaction. But I felt like, I was like, man, dude, you just restart my heart? Like, what's going on here?
You can't dap up the NFL guys. You can't do it.
Well,
their hands are too big and strong.
I was going to just shake his hand. And he just, like, bam. Like, just, clubbed me.
They're just different. I was fortunate enough to play with, I think, like 5 or 6 guys that went into the league. Cup of coffee, couple years, cup of coffee, cup of coffee. You couldn't mess around with them. It's like they're almost different species of humans, how big their hands are. I'm walking around a certifiable monster, just size, weight, everything.
Yeah.
These guys, when you have receivers that are like overlapping your hands as an offensive lineman, weird feeling. And Vrabel, love Vrabel.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's just his baseline energy with anybody is a nice hard chest tap.
Pretty
but he
much.
doesn't realize what happens to normal people when you do that.
Yeah. I mean, again, like that's just his way of life. I've also seen him freight train a cigarette faster than any human being I've ever seen smoke a cig. Walking down in Indianapolis, going to a bar. This is at night where everyone's hanging out this one spot, and it's like ice outside or whatever. And he's walking into the bar. I'm leaving, and I pass him, and he is about to walk in, but he's playing the Marlboro harmonica fast, and he does it in 3 draws. He takes 3 drags, and it's done. It's down to the filter, and just pops it out. And it was the fastest cigarette I've ever seen smoked. Mike Vrabel. Well
he would have
done,
been
sir.
a king. He would have been a king in any civilization pre-1900s.
Yeah. Look at that. Well done on the photo. Mike Vrabel, he's ready for the regular season. And you know who else is very competitive is Drake May. Just keep that in mind. Drake May and Mike Vrabel are going to get along just fine. Clay Travis, another alpha. He joins us next here on Hot Mic.